What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. Today we are headed to Florida. So maybe not entirely today, being that it's about a 45-hour driving and charging, but we are headed to Cape Canaveral for the SpaceX manned launch. All right, so we departed my apartment with 97% charge. And first stop will be the Tucson, Arizona Supercharger. We left about 9 a.m. Looks like we'll get to the Tucson Supercharger just shy of 11 a.m. And then after that, we're headed to Wilcox, Arizona. And then after that, through New Mexico, Texas. And Texas is going to be the vast majority of this drive. So looking forward to that portion. I'll get some in and out in Texas, and then that'll be the last in and out for this trip. Stay tuned. I'll include all the stats on all the charging, kilowatts added, time, all that fun stuff. For those that don't know, I have a 2015 Model S70D, and over the course of this trip, I'm going to cross over 160,000 miles, but I'm at 153,000 right now. So. And we made it to our first supercharging stop. Pulled in at, I think, 18%, something like that. I'll put the info on the screen for you. But 136.4 miles down, we're at the Tucson Supercharger, and next we're off to Wilcox. This charging session's going really well. I've been here probably 5-10 minutes, and up to 36%, still getting 68 kilowatt, which in my car is really good. Normally I'm getting state of charge plus charge rate is 100, so this is really good so far, so I'm not complaining at all. Probably run in and use the restroom and then hit the road, probably 10-15 minutes, if that. All right, just finished up at the Tucson Supercharger, now headed to Wilcox. Charged up to 77% at the Tucson Supercharger, which is quite a bit more than I needed. It's projecting arrival with 35% at Wilcox, but I was chatting with an older couple that was fairly new to Tesla ownership. They had a Model 3 and we're just on a little day trip. So never a bad thing to charge up more than needed, and I'll probably end up burning some of that buffer off with speed. This will be the last stop before we head to New Mexico in Wilcox, and then it's a brief bit in New Mexico, but then we'll head to Texas. So. Alright, this has to be probably one of the weirdest things I've ever seen on a map. Look at this. I think these are all like little rivers, streams things, and this is just headed to Wilcox, Arizona. Alright, we're now in Wilcox, Arizona. That was a nice quick jaunt from Tucson to Wilcox. Went 70 miles in 53 minutes. That was nice and quick. And now we're just charging up to head to Deming, New Mexico. Looks like we've got another 25 minutes to charge here. I'll probably fly my drone a little bit and then hit the road. So first time seeing a Model Y in person, and man, this thing looks good. Like, much better than I would have expected it to look. Still on temp tags. I like the dark tint in the rear. And it's a lot bigger than I expected it to be. There's my S. And then there's a 3 for comparison. Another 3 over there. There's my drone, the Mavic Air 2. Just had it up in the air. You guys will see some of that. I did add some reflective vinyl on it. That way it's a little bit easier to find in case it ever goes down and it's dark out. I can just use a flashlight and find it. But yeah, we're here at the Holiday Inn Express in Wilcox, Arizona. There's another Model 3 pulling up. And then we're headed to New Mexico. All right, back on the road, headed to Deming, New Mexico. I did check the Windy app. Looks like we've got a tailwind, so that should help quite a bit with efficiency. So I left with it projecting 9% arrival, and I'm totally fine with that. I was chatting with the Model 3 owner. They're headed back to Houston. I'll probably see them at Deming again. And yeah, pretty uneventful charge. Flew the drone and hung out for a little bit. The hotel was actually allowing us to use the bathroom, which was nice. Wasn't quite expecting that. Was expecting to have to walk across to the gas station across the street. But yeah, so uneventful stop and back on the road. Just crossed the New Mexico border and about 80 miles out from Deming, New Mexico. Just saw a sign on the highway that said face coverings required in New Mexico, which is fine. I have a mask. Just thought that was interesting that that was on a highway sign. And also want to say that it's way different driving through New Mexico without a snowstorm in the middle of the night like I did last time driving through New Mexico. Just arrived to Deming, New Mexico Supercharger. Pulled in at 5%. Let's get plugged in here. It's like someone put a rope here. Must not work. Let's see what kind of charge rate we're getting. There's the contactors clicking. We do have a nice and hot pack, 119 average cell temp. Let's see what it ramps up to. Should hit probably 117. Or sorry, 112. But charging has been going really well today. Nice and fast. 111. Let's see if it hits 112. There we go, 112. So still does it. Just gonna hang out here. Next stop will be El Paso, Texas. It's pretty nice only having one stop in New Mexico. Last time I was here, it was snowing middle of the night. That was not a fun stop, and yeah, it was super sketch driving through here last time I was here, but still. Gonna hang out, play on my iPad, maybe fly the drone. There's a power plant here, which is kind of cool. Might get some cool shots of that. I'll have to check if it's a no-fly zone or not, but yeah. Forgot to mention that for some reason I had it in my head that I would gain an hour or go back 1 hour heading east, but that's clearly not the case. So it's now 4 p.m. here since we did skip ahead an hour going east, since Arizona doesn't follow daylight savings, even though Arizona and New Mexico are technically still the same time zone. It makes it pretty complicated, but so we've lost 1 hour and then we're gonna lose another hour once we get to somewhere in Texas and it goes to Central Time. I don't know exactly where. And then we'll lose another hour once we get to Georgia, Florida area. I'll have to look at the map to see exactly where again, but yeah. This whole trip we'll lose 3 hours going to Florida and then gain those 3 hours back on the way back. Okay, so unfortunately can't fly my drone here. It is in controlled airspace and I'm in the 0 feet part of the grid. I don't feel like requesting a deviation from air traffic control, but I'll just kind of show you guys what's around here. So there's the transformer right there. Here's the gas station. Superchargers, my car. It's pretty windy out here. I'll probably clean my windshield and just hang out. Nothing much to do else otherwise here. So for being a state that has signs that say masks are required, hardly anyone's actually wearing them. So kind of defeats the purpose, but whatever, I guess I followed the rule and wore one. But yeah, just about to head out here from Deming, New Mexico. Saw the same people I saw at the last Supercharger and then headed to El Paso. and then that'll be Texas. So this was the only stop in New Mexico again, and then Texas is going to be the large majority of this trip. All right, made it to El Paso, Texas. 8% charge. It's at a Hampton Inn here. I guess kind of at a Hampton Inn. It's also at this like barbecue gas station thing. Plugged in. Might try and grab some food. I'll see what's around here. It looks like there's some stuff across the street. Maybe I'll segue over there. But yeah, it looks like probably about a 40-minute stop here, and then back on the road. I think Fort Stockton is next. Van Horn is next, so that is, let's see how many miles away. So it looks like Van Horn is 130 miles, so yeah, I'll need probably 75-80% charge to get there, and then hit the road. Back on the road from El Paso, headed to Van Horn, charged up to 86%. Looks like it's about 130 miles, just under 2 hours, so we'll get there about 8:40 tonight. And with sunset at 8:02, it will be dark when we arrive there. Border Patrol inspection station coming up here. Those are always fun. All right, we made it to Van Horn, Texas. 10%. We've got a warm pack. It's like 114 average cell temp. Let's get plugged in here. I did run over a piece of rubber. Looks like no damage. All right, back on the road from, what is this town? Van Horn, Texas, and headed to Fort Stockton. I got to wash my face in the bathroom here, so that was pretty nice, nice and refreshing. It's about 9:15 at night. Looks like we'll arrive to Fort Stockton at 11 p.m. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep driving through the night. unless I feel the reason, or unless I feel the need to stop and sleep for a little bit. But one of these longer charging stops, I'll probably just take a little nap and make it an extra long charging stop. But otherwise, just gonna stay on the road and keep pushing through, especially with how big Texas is. I just want to get through it. All right, just finishing up at the Fort Stockton Supercharger. I did get pulled over on the way here, allegedly 90 and an 80. A little annoyed by that, but that's whatever, I guess. Tried to pull the dash cam footage. Unfortunately, it was muted for whatever reason, so I'll see what I can do with that. But yeah, about to hit the road to Ozona, Texas, and continue on. All right, charged up to 76% at Fort Stockton. Now headed to Ozona, Texas. It's about 1 a.m. right now. It's gonna be 107 miles till we get to Ozona. So yeah, let's get it done. All right, just arrived to the Ozona, Texas Supercharger. We're headed to Junction next. Let's get plugged in here at Ozona. Saw a couple deer. Oh, there's the spider there. That's wonderful. I'll do that carefully. Anyway, there's a spider there. I saw a couple deer on my way here. Not a fan. They were on the side of the road alive, just like standing there waiting to jump out. Not a fan of that at all. Saw a couple skunks dead on the side of the road. Glad I didn't run over any of those because that would stink, literally. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna try and rest here a little bit and then hit the road again. All right, hitting the road from Ozona, Texas, headed to Junction, Texas. 90 miles exactly. Let's hit the road. Sorry about the previous selfie cam video. Just realized it was shooting on 4K 60, which is not great for low light. So sorry about that. Now I'm shooting on 4K 30 with the in-car light on, so this should be much better quality. But yeah, let's hit the road and get there. All right, just arrived to the Junction Supercharger. This is the last of the stops that I've been to these superchargers before on previous trips. It originally projected that we'd arrive with, I think, 12 or 15%, somewhere in there. We actually arrived with 23%. The last 30 miles, I averaged 241 watt hours per mile. And according to the car, which might differ from what I put on the screen from Teslafy, I averaged 284 watt hours per mile for that 92.6 miles. I drove a bit slower than I normally would. I saw a couple deer in the sides of the road, so I wanted to increase my reaction time and not drive as quickly as I normally would. So I stayed somewhere between 70 and 78-ish just to increase that reaction time. And turns out it's really efficient. I don't know if I had a tailwind. It seems likely with the efficiency numbers, but gonna hang out here, use the restroom, and then head to Leon Springs, Texas, and then see where we're going from there. I think we're gonna make a small detour to the world's largest convenience store. So not too far off the path, and then I'll check off 2 more superchargers most likely. I'm very close to hitting 100 superchargers that I've charged at myself, so we'll see. Cleaning the windshield for the second time on this trip. Surprised I haven't had to do it more. Front end of the car is just a bug massacre, but I have seen much worse actually. So rested my eyes for a little bit. We're at a Chevron, I forgot the name of this town, but yeah, we're on our way after I clean the windshield, use the bathroom, and then hit the road. Crazy. Hopefully you guys can hear that. All right, we made it to the Leon Springs Supercharger just outside of San Antonio. Let's get plugged in here. We're at 18%, and then I'll go over the plan with you guys. There we go, plugged in. Okay, so I'll ignore that for a second. So we're gonna be going to Buc-ee's. It's the world's largest convenience store. So that's up here. We don't really need to stop here, but I just wanted to add another supercharging stop to my list of superchargers I've been to. I've already been to that one. That's the San Antonio proper one. That one I went to when I passed through on my way back to Minneapolis in February. But this one that we're at now, I believe, is a new location. So we're gonna stop here. This is the Schertz, Texas. We'll then head up to Buc-ee's, and then we'll head to San Marcos. And then we're gonna come down from San Marcos and kind of join back onto the route that the computer wants me to take. So actually we'll probably go from San Marcos down this way. We'll see what it ends up routing, but I'm not in any rush, and I figure I'll check out another supercharger because why not? So I'll probably spend 10 minutes here, if that, and then head to Schertz. So let's see just how far that is. Probably 15% arrival with 19% right now. Oh, okay, so it's a little farther than I thought. But even still, we'll already have enough charge to get there, but I'll probably charge up to 30%, I guess. And then that'll leave us 15% on arrival. Spend a little bit of time there, maybe 15 minutes. Enough to get to Buc-ee's, and then to San Marcos. So I'm really bad at guessing distance from this, but I'm gonna guess that's like 25 miles, something like that, but we shall see. All right, charged up to 39% at Leon Springs, headed to Schertz, Texas. Got distracted playing with my phone while I was charging, and then took some pictures, so charged more than I needed to. Looks like we'll arrive with 24%, but I anticipate we'll probably arrive with 21 to 22% actually. So 27 minutes to go. It's 6:45 a.m. right now, and we should arrive there about 7:10 and on from there. Pulled into the Schertz, Texas Supercharger, warm pack 108. Let's get plugged in here. Pulled in at 24%. Wow, it is humid here. Must be from the rain that just happened. This looks like a pretty fresh install with the fresh pavement here and everything. It's at an H-E-B also. It's McDonald's, gas station and stuff. Let me show you guys where we're headed next. So let me put in the next supercharger first, because we need to be able to make it there. I think we can make it there with our current charge even. So yeah, we can make it there easily, so I'll just hang out here for, I don't know, a couple minutes. But the giant gas station convenience store is here in New Braunfels. I think I just butchered that name. So it looks like that's about 15 minutes away. So it's actually a little bit past there. Okay, so it's pretty much right in between the two superchargers here. So I'll hang out here 5-10 minutes and then we'll get on the way. All right, so rather than tell you guys about this Buc-ee's location while we're there and just sitting there, I'll tell you about it while we're charging. So the one we're going to was opened in 2012. It's the world's largest convenience store. It's 68,000 square feet. There's 120 fueling positions, 83 toilets, 31 cash registers, 4 icy machines, and 80 fountain dispensers. It also offers tubing and water gear for the Guadalupe River, which is nearby. So it looks like Buc-ee's has 48 locations across Texas, Southern Alabama, and Florida. So maybe I'll see some when I'm in Florida. I've personally never heard of them until someone told me about them. Should be interesting. I'll try and put the drone up if the weather cooperates, and it's not a controlled airspace there, but that way we can at least get a scale of it. And yeah, curious to see it. So just to get a scale of what 68,000 square feet is like, I Googled what the average Costco size is. And the average Costco is 144,000 square feet. So it's about half of a Costco, that's pretty damn large for a convenience store. Okay, so let's go inside here. This is kind of ridiculous. Like, look how many gas pumps there are. Let's see what it's like inside. I'll go in this side entrance here. Alright, got my coffee and Nerds Ropes, headed back to my car. This place is kind of ridiculous, but actually really nice inside. I was kind of impressed. Apparently in Texas you also can't buy alcohol until noon. Some guy was kind of annoyed with that. They had like chains over the like fridge doors and stuff, so whatever. But yeah, there you can see it, just how ridiculously big this is. Alright, so we're charging up here at San Marcos, Texas Supercharger. It's kind of in the back of this parking lot. I thought I would pulled in the wrong spot at first, but here we are. There's actually an EVGO station over there, which is kind of cool. 4 level 2s and a DC fast charger. Just gonna hang out here for a little bit, and then we're heading to Columbus, Texas. I might fly my drone here a little bit. It's kind of cool. It's 8:30 in the morning, so the outlet mall is obviously completely empty. And it looks kind of cool, so why not? All right, just finished charging at San Marcos. Now we're headed to Flatonia. We're charged to 77% right now, and we'll arrive there with 42%, but I like to just stop at more chargers rather than less, just because that's who I am. And yeah, so we'll stop there very briefly. Then there's another one pretty close by. I forgot the name of that one. Let's see here. That one's Columbus, Texas. So Flatonia, then Columbus, and then back on just the normal route with fewer chargers and just stopping pretty much every one. I got some sweet shots with the drone. The sun is out and it's still kind of sort of golden hour-ish, but there's some cool clouds, so they turned out pretty nice. Had a very brief stop at Flatonia, Texas. Now headed to Columbus, Texas, and then to Houston, and then out of Texas. Hallelujah. All right, made it to Columbus, Texas. This is a fairly old install, 120 kilowatt max. We're not that low on charge, so 58 kilowatts at 46%, totally normal. What I find interesting is that this is a somewhat strange install. So this is all fine. It's a hotel, nothing crazy there. I do like that it's kind of secluded in the parking lot, so you don't get door dings or anything. But what I find really interesting is that the whole thing is on these pedestals. So those are old style cabinets, you can tell, because instead of having the rounded vent cover, they have these like bent sheet metal style. So those are early 120 kilowatt cabinets. You can see all the conduit run there, and it just goes into the ground rather than through concrete or anything. Here we've got the transformers. They're coming out. This is solid concrete, it appears. So that's coming out there. It's going to that transformer, and then to the 3 cabinets for the 6 stalls. But it's just really strange that it's up on the pedestal. I don't think this is a flooding area, but it could very well be, and that could be the reason for this install style. Another possible reason for this install style is if they didn't want to tear up the concrete of this lot. It is pretty nice, so I'm just not sure. It appears that maybe the supercharger went in when this hotel was built. It all looks fairly new, so who knows. All right, charging up here at the Houston Northwest Freeway location with a barbecue place across the parking lot. Booked a hotel for this evening in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's actually a Wyndham, yeah, something like that. And it has a destination charger. I'll show you guys when I get there, but $82 for the night, not too bad with all taxes and everything for a last minute hotel. I mean, for a pretty nice hotel, it should be pretty decent. Apparently breakfast included, but we'll see with COVID-19 and everything. Should be there in about 5.5-ish hours, depending on what amount of charge it's anticipating I'll arrive there with. I might stop at the Baton Rouge Supercharger first, just to not have an empty pack when I get there, in case I want to like run and grab food or run any errands once I'm there. That way I'm not arriving with like single digits or teens. But yeah, it should be nice to get a good night's sleep tonight on a real bed, be able to work on editing this video for part 1 for you guys. And now we're headed to the Channelview, Texas Supercharger. It's going to be a fairly long stop there because we have to go all the way to Lake Charles, Louisiana. There is an Electrify America station in between there, but I checked and the Chatamo plug is of course down. Otherwise I would have used that on the way to save some time. Even if I have to pay for it, it's still easier than spending an hour at a supercharger. But unfortunately it's down, so good thing I checked PlugShare rather than just going there, and I also checked the Electrify America app and it is reported as down. So it's good that they have the live status, you just have to make sure you use it. All right, we're here at Channelview. Looks like negative 25% with 49%, so we need like 85, 90% to make it with a reasonable buffer. So let's get plugged in here and get that clock ticking. It seems like a pretty nice hotel in an otherwise kind of not great area. There's a mobile home repair place like a block from here. All right, we're charged up to 90% here at Channelview, Texas Supercharger. So this is the last charging stop of this trip in Texas. And I am quite happy about that. It feels like Texas goes on forever. So let's get unplugged here. And let's hit the road. We are off to Lake Charles, Louisiana, followed by Lafayette, Louisiana. A V3, so not that I get much benefit out of it on my, or really any benefit out of it on my car, but still it's nice to go to a newer station. You know it's going to be reliable, so there's always that at least. So here we go. This jaunt will be 127 miles, 50 it's saying, and let's see. It says we'll arrive at 3:46. There's no time change on this leg, which is kind of nice. It won't change again, I believe, until Alabama or Florida. I'd have to double check the map again. Can't keep track of all these time changes. But yeah, here we go. I forgot to mention the Holiday Inn that the Channelview Supercharger is at. It actually seems really nice. I went inside to use the restroom and it was a super clean lobby and it seemed really new. So if you're passing through that supercharger and you need a place to stay in that area, I mean, I would definitely stay there. I probably would have stayed there tonight if I had known about it, but I'm pushing through because I want to get closer to Florida. Otherwise, yeah. So we're headed on to Louisiana. All right, we're here at Lake Charles, Louisiana. It's like a shopping center here. There's a Sonic drive-in behind. There's the cabinets and stuff. Getting pretty good rates. Pulled in here a little bit ago, pulled in at 10%. Now we're at 40%. I was speaking to one of my friends. She called me while I was driving, so that was really nice. We caught up. We were both driving, so worked out. Just about ready to go here already. It looks like it's 78 miles to Lafayette. And then that'll be maybe the last supercharging stop before Baton Rouge. I'm not sure if I'll stop in the Baton Rouge Supercharger tonight or not. There is destination charging at my hotel, but I'll still probably stop at the Supercharger just to add another one to the box. Or to the, not the box, the list of Superchargers I've been to. But yeah, probably gonna walk over to Target, maybe grab some stuff, and continue on the road. We are on the road from Lake Charles to Lafayette, and then from Lafayette to Baton Rouge, and that's where I'll be spending the night. Probably grab some food and then hang out in the hotel room, but I'll show you guys the next two charging stops. Made it to Lafayette, Louisiana. Let's get plugged in here with these nice V3 cables, nice and thin. Look how thin that is. It doesn't have the metal ring here, and you can also just see how much thinner it is. It doesn't make much of a difference at all for charging speed on my car, but you can just see how that cable sits differently. We've got the V3 cabinets over there. So this is an 8-post install. It actually does have 2 trailer spots, which is kind of interesting. You don't usually see that. So each one of these powers 4 stalls and is capable of 1 megawatt power delivery, being that each stall has 250 kilowatt dedicated. So there's no more sharing power with V3. So up here we've got radiators. We've got coolant pumps, so very similar setup to what's inside a Tesla essentially. It's essentially kind of a AC unit of sorts on top with the condenser along the top, or radiator, I'm not exactly sure the setup. And then we've got the transformer and some of the more stuff over there. And we're at Office Depot, Petco, and then behind behind that, there's actually a Target in the same like little shopping complex. There's a Chick-fil-A over there, and a gas station across the street there. So not a bad location. Gas station is handy for after hours stops, but otherwise you've got plenty of options for during the day. Back on the road, headed to the Baton Rouge Supercharger. It's estimating we'll arrive with 30%, just left Lafayette with 61%. And yeah, I'll top off there before we head to the hotel, even though there's charging there. That way I can make sure I have a full charge in the morning. No matter what time I leave, I'm not sure what time I'll leave in the morning. So yeah, let's go. All right, we made it to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is gonna be the final supercharging stop of this video, since I am going to be splitting it into multiple parts for this whole journey. Otherwise it'd be hours long and no one wants to watch that. This way it's a little bit more manageable. So this is actually going to be my 100th unique supercharger location that I've personally charged at. So let's get plugged in. So I think the most surprising part for me about Louisiana is just how green it is here. There we go. That marks 100 unique supercharger locations that I have personally charged at. And now let's put the drone in the air and check out this area and kind of show you guys what it's like here. All right, made it to the hotel here and was able to snag a room that should be close to my car, and they've got one Tesla wall connector, 40 amps, I believe, or at least that's all my car can pull, so I don't know if it can do more. And then they also have a Clipper Creek over here, also a 40 amp it looks like, and they're part of the Sun Country Highway. So I believe I saw that same stuff in New Mexico, so I think it's all the way across, so it's pretty cool. Unload some stuff and check out the room. All right, so my only request was that I got a room that I could see my car, which I got, so I'm happy about that. It had to be a 2-bed, but whatever. I'll have one bed for working on and one bed for sleeping in. Decent enough little hotel room for the night, so can't complain. Now I'm gonna probably run to Walmart or something and maybe Jimmy John's for some food. And then just call it a night and work on editing some video and just relaxing before hitting the road again tomorrow morning to Florida. All right, as I'm sitting here in my hotel room doing a bit of editing, I realized I never recorded an outro to this video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you want to see some future videos as well as the rest of this series, I'm going to be going all the way across the country. So I'm going to be continuing on to Florida for the SpaceX launch. I'll cover that. I'm going to be heading up to North Carolina, then up to Minnesota, After that, it's a little bit unknown, just depending on a couple different factors. So we'll see what route I go from Minnesota back to Arizona. But there will be some Minnesota to Arizona part. But anyway, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button down below. And then to see those future videos, please hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified when my new videos come out, there's a bell icon next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get a pop-up or a push notification or whatever YouTube does when I post a new video. And that way you'll be one of the first to know, and you can enjoy that content. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.